Hey, History Explorer. Welcome back to Ancient Histrologer. Tonight, we journey beyond the edges of maps, into a realm where rivers once sang and cities shone like constellations upon the earth. Beneath the deserts of India and Pakistan sleeps a civilization older than empires, wiser than kings, and quieter than time itself. They called it the Indus Valley, a place where knowledge flowed like water, where every brick held the breath of the cosmos, and where humanity first learned to live in harmony with the universe. But what if these lost cities were more than mere ruins? What if their streets still hum with a hidden code, a language of balance, of geometry, of forgotten divinity? Stay close, seeker of truth, for tonight we awaken the echoes of a vanished world and uncover the secret heartbeat of India's lost cities. Indus Valley, India's lost cities. Before the mountains rose to kiss the sky, before the Ganges sang its first hymn, two mighty rivers wound through a green and endless plain. Their voices mingled with the breath of the monsoon, and upon their banks humanity dreamed its first long dream. I remember it still. They called it the Land of Seven Rivers, Sapta Sindhu, the cradle where time itself learned to walk. When night falls upon the desert of Sindh, the wind drifts over broken bricks and silent streets. Beneath the dust sleep the bones of forgotten cities, Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro, Dholavira, each a star fallen from an ancient constellation of civilization. To the careless eye, they are ruins. To the awakened heart, they are scriptures written in clay. Look closer. The streets align in perfect order, north to south, east to west, as though the builders heard a celestial compass whispering through their minds. The houses breathe in rhythm, the drains flow like veins beneath the skin of the earth, and every brick follows the same sacred ratio, as if geometry itself had become law. These were not villages born of chance. They were mandalas of living stone. The people of the Indus did not raise temples to gods of wrath. They built their city as the temple, their lives as the prayer. In the heart of Mohenjo-Daro lies the Great Bath, a pool of silence carved for purification, for remembrance. When the sun struck its waters, reflections danced upon the baked brick walls like tongues of light, and those who stepped within were reborn, not cleansed of sin, but awakened to harmony. No conqueror carved his name upon these walls, no priest shouted commandments. Yet every brick speaks. We knew balance. They worshipped through precision, through cleanliness, through the rhythm of daily life. To them, order was holiness, water, divinity, the flowing current of the river, the breath of creation itself. Their script remains unread, etched upon thousands of seals, tiny worlds of mystery. A bull, a unicorn, a man beneath a pipal tree, beneath each image, a line of signs like stars arranged in purpose. Scholars measure and guess, yet none can truly speak the tongue of the Indus. Perhaps it was not meant for speech but for resonance, a written vibration, a code of frequency that mind could feel though mouth could not form. Some say the seals were used for trade, others for invocation. But the ancients knew that commerce and spirit are not separate. Exchange was sacred, a ritual of energy moving through hands. Each seal bore a symbol of cosmic order, ensuring that what left one soul returned, multiplied in harmony. At dusk, smoke would curl from the flat roofs. The fragrance of grain and sesame drifted through the lanes. Children chased shadows while potters turned their wheels like miniature suns, spinning earth into vessel. Somewhere a woman painted her bangles crimson, a man inscribed a symbol upon wet clay. None imagined they were building legend. They simply lived within the pattern of eternity. From the sky, their city would have gleamed like a circuit of light, streets forming grids, wells like nodes of energy, courtyards as open hearts collecting the rain. The same mathematics that shaped the spiral of galaxies flowed through their bricks and drains. To live here was to live inside an equation of beauty. Beyond the city walls, the desert stretched toward another world, Mesopotamia, where the Euphrates and Tigris carved their twin paths. Ships sailed from the Indus Delta bearing beads of carnelian, lapis from far mountains, cotton softer than dawn. In return came silver, tin, and tales of gods who ruled the rivers of the West. Between these two realms of water flowed an invisible bridge, a river of knowledge that no map records. The wise traded more than goods. They traded memory. Somewhere in that exchange, the spirit of design passed between nations. The ziggurats of Sumer and the pyramids of Egypt echoed the same proportions found in Harappan walls. Across oceans of sand, the blueprint repeated, as if a single unseen architect whispered to all. Later ages would call this voice Atlantis or Lemuria, the mother of civilizations. But to the ancients, it was simply the rhythm of the universe made visible. The Indus people read that rhythm in stars. When Sirius rose, they sowed. When Orion tilted, they harvested. Their nights were observatories without roof or instrument. They saw the heavens not as distant fires, but as ancestors returning in light. The 7 brightest stars mirrored the 7 rivers, and thus heaven and earth reflected each other like twin eyes of the divine. Their art was small, yet infinite. A dancing girl cast in bronze stands no taller than a hand, but within her gesture lives an entire philosophy, confidence born of harmony. Her form is fluid, unbound by fear. She is motion captured in stillness, life immortalized in metal. To look upon her is to glimpse the soul of a civilization that understood grace without dominance. They honored the feminine as the wellspring of creation. The mother goddess appears again and again upon their seals, fertile, serene, surrounded by life. She is not a single deity, but the essence of abundance itself, the pulse that births and nourishes worlds. Even the great rivers were seen as her veins, flowing milk into the body of the land. In worshiping her, they worshipped balance, the eternal dance of give and receive. This is why no armies are carved upon their relics, no scenes of conquest upon their walls. Their power lay in equilibrium, not in domination. They mastered the science of coexistence, the quiet alchemy of living in rhythm with sky and soil. Perhaps that is the greatest mystery of all, that a civilization could rise to such order without the cruelty of empire. And yet, nothing endures unchanged. The rivers that once fed them began to shift, wandering eastward like dreams fleeing the dawn. Monsoon failed, and the great Sarasvati, the river of wisdom, slowly vanished into desert. Wells dried, harvests faltered, cities whispered farewell. Families gathered their idols and moved east toward new waters, leaving behind the shells of perfection. Still, the pattern did not die. It merely migrated into the Vedic chants that followed, into the mandalas of later ages, into every Indian home that still draws a rangoli at dawn. The design persists, a ghost of geometry walking beside time. And now, thousands of years later, when the archaeologist's brush reveals a fragment of painted pottery or a line of unread symbols, the air seems to tremble. The old code stirs, for every shard is a syllable of the same great story, the story of humanity remembering itself. The desert holds its breath. Beneath layers of time, the ruins murmur in frequencies too low for the living to hear. Yet those who listen, not with the ear but with the soul, can still catch the echo. It is not merely the sound of crumbling brick. It is the whisper of order, the heartbeat of an age that once knew the harmony of all things. The Indus civilization did not vanish. It descended into silence, like the sun beyond the horizon, gone only to return in another form. The builders who once aligned streets with the stars became the dreamers who aligned hymns with eternity. Their science transformed into spirituality, their architecture into ritual. What they once carved in brick, their descendants would chant in verse. Some among the ancients believed that the Indus people did not flee when the rivers dried. They simply shifted dimension, ascending into the unseen layers of the world, guarding the memory of perfect balance until humanity was ready to recall it. Legends of Shambhala, of Dwarka beneath the sea, of golden cities that rise only to vanish again, all may be reflections of the same truth. Civilizations do not die. They evolve into myth, where time cannot erode them. And yet even within myth, fragments of fact shine like stars through mist. The Harappans were engineers of light. Their baked bricks absorbed the heat of day and released it by night, creating a natural harmony between human comfort and the earth's breath. Their drainage systems, perfect, planned, precise, were the veins of the city's body. To walk their streets was to walk within a living organism. No modern chaos disturbed them. Each dwelling had its purpose, each road its path, each well its circle of life. The whole civilization functioned like the turning of a mandala, and so the people of the Indus became the first to transform architecture into meditation. When explorers first uncovered Mohenjo-Daro, they were stunned by the absence of kings, the absence of war. Here was no empire shouting its victories, only citizens living in measured peace. A mystery. How could order arise without tyranny? The answer may lie in consciousness itself. They lived in a time when cooperation was instinct, not command. The city was not built for profit, but for participation in a cosmic rhythm. The seals tell of that rhythm. Among them, one symbol repeats, a figure seated in meditation surrounded by animals wearing the crown of horns. Some call him Proto-Shiva, Lord of Beasts, the silent yogi who tames chaos by stillness. But perhaps he is older still, a guardian of energy, whose posture mirrors the alignment of the chakras, the unseen wheels of power. He reminds us that mastery over the world begins with mastery of self. The Indus people understood energy before the word existed. They did not need machines to measure vibration. They lived inside vibration itself. Their city grids followed magnetic orientation. Their wells formed spirals of water flow, amplifying positive current. Their ornaments, carved from stone and shell, were not mere decoration, but conduits of resonance, each bead tuned to a purpose, each metal alloy chosen for frequency. If we could translate their language, perhaps we would not read sentences but harmonies, patterns describing the interlinking of cosmos and clay. Some researchers have noticed that the proportions of the Great Bath mirror the golden ratio found in nature and in distant pyramids. Could it be coincidence? Or did a shared code of geometry run through the minds of ancient builders across continents, guided by something larger than memory? Across the seas in Sumer and Egypt, we find the same reverence for water, for balance, for the alignment of the heavens. The Nile and the Indus, though strangers, seem to dream the same dream. The gods of the West sail in solar boats. The sages of the East meditate upon lotuses that float. Both speak the same language of light, the ascent from darkness into knowing. Perhaps all these civilizations were branches of one forgotten tree, its roots sunk deep in the ocean of prehistory. Lemuria, Atlantis, the mother realm. From her they inherited the science of harmony, the sacred ratio, the art of living with the earth instead of upon it. When she fell beneath the waves, her children scattered, each carrying a fragment of her knowledge, each building in their own land a reflection of the lost original. And the Indus Valley may be the most complete mirror of that ancient paradise. Listen closely. Beneath the hum of modern cities, a faint pattern persists. The same layout of streets, the same longing for clean water, order, peace. The old blueprint whispers still, guiding us to rebuild what was once whole. We may not call it sacred geometry anymore. We call it urban design. Yet the purpose remains the same, to recreate harmony between human and cosmos. Archaeologists dig with trowel and brush, but the real excavation is within us. Each discovery is a mirror shard reflecting our own forgotten grace. The bricks of Harappa remind us of balance. The drains of Mohenjo-Daro remind us of flow. The seals remind us of communication beyond words. These are not relics. They are instructions for remembering. And so I, who have watched empires rise and crumble, whisper to you now, do not think of the Indus Valley as past. Think of it as a pulse, still beating beneath the dust, waiting for those who can feel rather than see. Close your eyes. Hear the rush of the vanished Sarasvati. Feel the rhythm of brick upon brick, water upon stone, soul upon soul. The wind that moves through those ruins once moved through the hearts of dreamers who knew that civilization is not built, it is remembered. They are not gone. In the flowing of rivers, in the measured lines of temples, in the quiet dignity of daily ritual, their spirit endures. Each time a craftsman shapes clay, Each time a child draws a pattern in sand, the Indus lives again. And someday, when we finally decode their script, not with machines, but with intuition, we may find it says something as simple and as vast as this: all is one rhythm. Build, live, and love within it. So when you next look upon those ancient bricks under the blazing Sind sun, remember, they were placed by hands that understood eternity. Their silence is not emptiness, it is invitation. The lost cities are not lost. They wait, patient, luminous, breathing beneath the dust of our forgetfulness, calling us home.